Ghana Tonight is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint. Superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage, simply superior.
Sasso insecticide spray and coil.
Hello, good evening, welcome. This is Ghana Tonight. We're live from news about Desawe Kanda, also live on TV3 Ghana on Facebook and on DSTV channel 279. We're all across the world on 3news.com. I am Ofori-Atta tonight. So getting to the matters, opposition New Patriotic Party, they say they'll crack the whip against senior member Professor Kwabena Frimpong-Boateng, insisting he is deliberately trying to create divisions within the party with anti-party behavior. Well, another senior member of the party tonight is calling the bluff of the party. Stay with us. We have had a conversation on this matter tonight and all the twists and turns and developments over the Judicial Service Staff Association of Ghana. They've set January 19 to begin a nationwide strike as it demands payment of 8 months' salary arrears. Stay with us. We'll tell you exactly what's happening. And the National Council for Curriculum Assessment recalls controversial teacher's manual granting recognition to gender beyond male and female. Well, this matter is coming up again, and this time in a different form. We'll stay with us. We'll tell you as well the latest on the twists and turns and matters arising with the former Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta. Stay with us. Yours, as always, an integral part of the conversation. Let's hear from you. The hashtag we're using is Ghana Tonight on Facebook and on X. Let's get talking. Let's settle for Ghana Breeze.
The Supreme Court has set Wednesday, January 28, to rule on the application by MP for Kwandai Matthew Nyindam seeking to quash the decision of the Tamale High Court. NDC parliamentary candidate for Kwandai, Daniel Insala Wakbal, filed an election petition which resulted in the annulment of Nyindam's election. But lawyers for the NPP MP are challenging the High Court's decision and have filed a certiorari at the Supreme Court. One of the lawyers of the Insala Wakbal, Roxanne Nelson Dafiameko, spoke to the media.
Public documents are made available in court and they are brought to your attention. You have a duty under law to observe the terms of those public documents. Today they say that they are online publications, but they were not online publications. Those were the same documents they brought to Parliament. In fact, on the 6th of January, that was the document that the clerk relied on to swear me, Eche Dafomakpo, in as a member of Parliament in the 9th Parliament. As a result of which, we proceeded to elect the Speaker of Parliament. That was the document that gave rights to every party who was aggrieved in the matter.
The Judicial Service Association of Ghana has announced an indefinite strike effective January 19, 2026 over the government's failure to pay salary arrears owed to its members. The decision was communicated in a letter signed by JUSAG National President Samuel Afute Otu and addressed to the Executive Secretary of the National Labour Commission. According to JUSAG, the strike follows several unsuccessful engagements with the Ministry of Finance and the government regarding the delayed implementation of a 10% base pay increase approved for judicial service staff in 2025. The Auditor General has raised alarm over an increasing level of weapons and ammunition intercepted at Ghana's airports in 2024, a situation that has necessitated stricter weapon declaration laws by the Airport Company Limited for safety of travelers. Meanwhile, the Transport Ministry is considering private investment to enhance lake transport.
We are very hopeful that we will get some new pontoons or some new ferries to be able to add and then serve our people. We've run these vessels for a very long time, some of them over 19 to 50 something years. So we now have gotten to a point that, look, we have to use all means and then get private participation in procuring more vessels to be able to serve our people.
Personnel from the Ghana Armed Forces 14 Engineer Brigade, forming part of Ghana's engineering reconstruction team, are undertaking rebuilding works in Jamaica following the devastation caused by Hurricane Melissa. A member of the contingent, Captain R.N. Neti, stated that the team's commander, Colonel Emmanuel Isia, has ensured Ghana's intervention in Jamaica is effective and steadily progressing. Lieutenant Colonel Hilton James, commanding officer of the Engineer Regiment of the Jamaican Defense Force, has expressed appreciation to President Mahama for Ghana's support in rebuilding efforts following the devastation caused by Hurricane Melissa.
Jamaica, extend our appreciation to your government for extending this olive branch to us to assist us in the rebuild. Obviously, you should know by now that what we went through is a record hurricane, never before experienced here in the island, and it has devastated the West. And so your efforts with my efforts, team, we will come together and we will be working in St. Elizabeth.
The Public Utilities Workers Union of the Trades Union Congress has reiterated its opposition to the privatization and private sector participation in the Electricity Company of Ghana and the Northern Electricity Distribution Company. The union is calling on government to suspend all plans to privatize the two power distribution companies, citing what it describes as the phenomenal performance of ECG over the past 6 months.
Extensive tripartite engagements, a 6-month turnaround program was agreed upon and implemented from July to December 2025. The result of the turnaround program has been phenomenal. Verified performance data from this turnaround program indicate that ECG's average monthly revenue collection increased from approximately 900 million Ghana cedis to a record of 1.75 billion.
There's more news on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. This is Ghana Tonight. We're live on 3FM 92.7. Also on TV3 Ghana on Facebook and on DSTV channel 279. We're all across the world on 3news.com. As always, probably brought to you by Flamingo Paint, Simply Superior, Sasso Insecticide Spray and Coil, Tum Precom. Coming up next on Ghana Tonight, the opposition New Patriotic Party, they've set that tone to crack the whip against the senior member of the party, Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng, insisting he is deliberately trying to create divisions within the party. But there's another senior member of the party who's also been talking. We're getting to this matters, and this has been unfolding at least over the last 24 hours. The opposition NPP is determined to crack the whip against a senior member of the party. I'm talking about none other than Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng, insisting he is deliberately, in the words of General Secretary, trying to create divisions within the party. Professor Frimpong Boateng is the subject of proceedings geared at expelling him from the party, that is the NPP, for allegedly making disparaging comments or comments that have been described as anti-party. Well, let's first take a listen to exactly what Professor Frimpong Boateng said in that interview with Bernard Avle on City TV last night, and then also the reaction that have come through so far. I'm just going to take a look at exactly how this played out, and then also we take a listen to what the General Secretary and his deputy have all been talking about. Take a look.
Do you still consider yourself a member of the MPP?
Where the present MPP is not MPP, it's fake.
What?
Yeah. What I see now, it is not the MPP I used to know.
But the question still stands. Do you still consider yourself a member of the MPP?
Not the fake one.
So which one is the real one?
The real one is there. It's a virtual thing, and the members are there in the background.
You think that... I don't understand.
Now look at how they elected their last flag bearer. Twist the arms of weak and.
This is for the 2024 election.
Yes. Twist people's arms, bribing delegates, and intimidating others to get a flag bearer. This is a beginning of corruption, and this should not be allowed in any serious situation or any serious party. And there were issues. We lost the elections badly, and we did not deal with the issues that led to the losses. And then we still want to go in there, and I think it would be a train wreck.
Well, so that's the former Environment Minister, Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng, there on that particular point he made strongly, and in his opinion, clearly indicating why he says the current structured leadership of the NPP is fake, in his words. And then also he said there's another one that's online. They said this on Channel 1 TV. But then again, this particular statement has got some reactions from the hierarchy of the party. The General Secretary of the party said these, and this is a statement that was issued earlier today indicating what the party intends to do going forward, the decision they have taken to expel him. They said they've taken due notice of the comments made by Professor Frimpong Boateng during an interview on Channel 1 on Monday, 12 January 2026, in which he described the party as a fake party and further stated that he no longer considers himself as a member of the MPP. In the same interview, Professor Frimpong Boateng made additional disparaging remarks about the party and alleged, among other things, that the party's 2023 presidential primary was rigged in favor of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the MPP's presidential candidate for the 2024 general elections. The party unequivocally rejects Professor Frimpong Boateng's unfortunate characterization of the MPP and firmly denies his baseless and unsubstantiated allegations regarding the conduct of the 2023 presidential primary. The said primary has been widely acknowledged by all candidates who participated, as well as by well-meaning members of the party, and as having been conducted in a free, fair, transparent, and credible manner, faithfully reflecting the will of the party delegates of the MPP. So the party said they view the conduct and utterances of Professor Frimpong Boateng as highly reprehensible and inimical to the values, unity, and integrity of the party. Consequently, they have invoked, and this is where the real matter arises, they've invoked the relevant provisions of its constitution to commence the necessary processes to expel him from the party, strictly in accordance with due process. And this is where the real crux of the matter is, that because of what Professor Frimpong Boateng is heard to have said in this interview, which I just played portions of it to you, they are invoking the relevant provisions of the Constitution to commence the process to expel him from the party because of what they say he's doing. That is, all he's doing is geared towards creating division and anti-party tendencies. Well, joining me on Zoom right now, just focus on this part of the Statement, Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo is also a member of the MPP. In fact, that status has been contested, which we will get into in a bit. But he's joining us right now, a statesman, talk with Dr. Nyaw Tamaklo. Good evening. Thank you for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. This is where the party have communicated their decision, that's the NPP, what to do to Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng. They say because of these statements that he made, that the party, the current leadership and structure of the party is fake, and the allegations he makes about how Dr. Mahmoud Bamia was elected as flag bearer going into the 2024 elections, they have invoked the constitutional provisions to commence the necessary processes to expel him from the party in accordance with due process. What's your contention with this?
I think firstly, Professor Frimpong Boateng is a well-educated person. He is also had the opportunity to handle important institutions in this country. He's been a minister of state as well, of a very important ministry. And I believe strongly he has a right to talk or speak his mind if he wants to. Our party has always been a democratic party. Even before we were registered, we did have series of discussions, and always in these discussions you see arguments and counter-arguments. So people speaking their mind is nothing new to the New Patriotic Party. Indeed, our motto is development in freedom. It is freedom which brought the founding fathers together to form this party. So if someone is being denied free speech, then I think we all have to sit up and find out why. Now, if Frimpong Boateng claims that the party is fake, he has a reason. The party, as we know, is not what it is today. The party has changed completely. I remember years ago when we had Congress at the Great Hall of University of Ghana, you will not see anyone holding even one cedi trying to bribe another person. It has never happened. Now, just as Frimpong Boateng put it, election of the party leadership, and I think 2024 or 2020, we all saw what happened. Monies were being distributed. We saw it openly on television. Even to the extent that one of the contestants had to come out swearing and cursing. So what Frimpong Boateng said is nothing new at all. It's something that is known not only by members of the Neo-Patriotic Party, but even the people of this country in general. Now, the elections were supposed to be coming on pretty soon, on the 31st of January. We have already seen what is happening. We see money is being used, left, right, and center. We've seen even some of the contestants coming to say that if things continue the way they are, they will have to boycott the elections. So you ask yourself one question. Is this party going to pick a person who is competent and can run the affairs of the party and even the affairs of this country? So what Frimpong Boateng said to me, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. He has spoken his mind, and I think that's the right thing to do.
I see, but having spoken his mind, this is what it has led to. And I read portions of that statement that was signed by the General Secretary of the party. And this is another part of it that the General Secretary, in one interview, described the statement, part of the statement by Professor Frimpong as careless. And he says, and the other part of the statement that touches on that particular pronouncement, and we put that on the screen, and I'll find out what your thoughts are on it. And say that the New Patriotic Party views the conduct and his utterances as highly reprehensible and inimical to the values, unity and integrity of the party. So yes, he's spoken his mind, but this is the verdict of the party on what you say is he speaking his mind and the fact that the party doesn't gag free speech. This is it, Prof. Dr. Tamaklo.
No, but when you have a party where leadership are not contested through the will of the people, but by bribery and corruption, every sane individual has a right to use the word that was used by Frimpong. They know it themselves, how they got to power. And indeed, after losing the 2024 elections massively, myself and other people suggested that we should, or the party, because of the massive loss, should start organizing again from the grassroots and teach the grassroots what exactly, or let them know what exactly happened and get them organized properly. So we start electing leadership right down from the grassroots up until we get to the top level. They chose to do otherwise. And we shall see how it will end on the 31st of this month. So the party MPP, as it was known years ago, is not what it is today. Let's face it, that is a fact. Leadership has become a position that if you have money, then you have a chance of being picked. And those who haven't got money, they have no chance whatsoever. And that is not the type of party that the founding fathers of this particular party, people like B.J. Darocha, Ajini Boatin, Odoe Site, Peter Lajete, K.G. Osebonso, Dr. Kwame Sapoedu, and many others I cannot remember now. Molu Saritifu, and a lot of them. Tolon Naya Kubotali. These were great men. Although he's still alive though, we thank God for that. Right. But these people who are passing, believe me, when they hear what is going on, they will turn in their graves. But the party that they sweated for, the party that they toil for, is not what we have today.
I see. Well, you keep referencing our party, as in you are also a member of the MPP. But the Deputy General Secretary of the party says you were suspended. In fact, it says you should not even be referred to as a founding member of the NPP. You mentioned a few names, quite a number of them, by the way. You didn't. He says, look, you are not even there, and you were suspended. You don't have any locals to even talk about this matter, right? So, but I just want us to take a listen to the Deputy General Secretary, that's Haruna Mohammed. He spoke earlier on Joy News regarding your status in the party. Take a listen.
This is somebody who has openly expressed his wish of not belonging to the membership of the New Patriotic Party. And we are taking the steps to grant his wish for him. This is a person who has been one of those who have contributed to the downfall of the party. if you go down there and ask the grassroots of the party, you will see the damage that Professor Frimpong Boateng has done to the New Patriotic Party. Dr. Bawumia was not selected a presidential candidate. He was elected a presidential candidate. So in election within the New Patriotic Party, several people come out to vote. And those people were given the mandate to vote. They voted massively for Dr. Bawumia to become the candidate. The processes was free and fair. And after the processes, those who contested in that election came out and admit the free nature of the elections. So for somebody like Professor Frimpong Boateng to come out and say that he was imposed, everybody knows that it was election, not even selection. People who are founding members of our party are known. There were people who signed on the document at the Electoral Commission. Dr. Nyawu Nyamutamakulo never signed any document. So please, I am telling you, I am the crocodile coming from the water. I am the Deputy General Secretary. I am telling you that he's not a founding member of the party. Again, Dr. Nyawu Nyamutamakulo was suspended as a member on the 3rd of March 2016. And again, on 14th October 2023, Dr. Nyawu Nyamutamakulo said, and I quote, "I was a member of the MPP until Mahama came into the scene." Dr. Nyawu Nyamutamakulo reveals why he betrayed his former party. Ask him whether he made that comment or not. Our party is a party of rules. You cannot tell us that you are no more a member of the party and you will come to arrogate yourself a founder.
Well, so you said you are no more a member of the party. You've been suspended, and so why are you continuously referencing it as our party, our party? That's the Deputy General Secretary to you, Dr. Nyawu Nyamutamakulo.
When people are ignorant, I have no time for them.
Oh.
I remember about a year or two ago, he made a similar claim when I was having a discussion, and he came on air. I think the same TV3 or so. And a lady called in. A lady called Madame Akui, an elderly woman. And then made it plain that she was then secretary to the General Secretary and also worked for the chairman of the party, B.J. Darucha. And she handled my membership, that is a founding membership documents, myself and lawyer Koku Viti. She mentioned the two of us. She's still alive, I believe. So whoever spoke, when NPP was formed years ago, I don't know where he was. I don't know whether he's even had a relative at all in the party, like some of the people that we know. So if you shut up, what they have been saying, if I'm not the founding member of the party, and I'm even a street sweeper, but I have sympathy for the party, I have every right to talk when the party is going on.
Anyway, Topic Dr. Nyawu Nyamutamakulo, thank you very much for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. And this matter, then, and the reactions that have been coming through, in fact, quite a number of them as well, and a number of you also sharing your views and thoughts as well. Dr. Ofori-Atta Kennedy has also issued a statement in that regard. You'll find it on 3news.com. But still staying with the NPP, but this time around, a member of the party, specifically the former finance minister of the Ofori-Atta-led government, that is Ken Nanayao Kuntunkunuku Ofori-Atta, and that's coming up next. We'll get matters relating to this issue because the ambassador to the United States, that's Victor Smith, has indicated some involvement of the Federal Bureau of Investigations into the arrest of Ken Ofori-Atta and his detention, in fact, his detention by ICE, and then also the latest being also monitored by investigative journalist Manasseh Azariah-Winnie, joining us quickly for a conversation on this latest development right now. To have a conversation on this. And Manasseh Azariah-Winnie is joining us on Zoom right now. He's an investigative journalist. He's in the United States as well. Manasseh, good evening.
Good evening, Alfred.
Thank you for joining us. Now, prior to the last 24 hours, the conversation was about Ken Ofori-Atta's status being the main reason why ICE picked him up, and he's in the detention center in Virginia right now. But then we're getting another layer of information from the Ghana's ambassador to the United States, Victor Smith, that there's a possible involvement of the FBI in all of this. How does this change the dynamics for you, taking into consideration what you already know about how he was picked up and how you describe this whole thing as a targeted operation?
Well, I think when this thing happened, I had some information, and if after analyzing everything, I thought that there was something beyond just the overstaying and the visa issues. Of course, that's the main reason it's being kept, and that's why ICE. But we cannot rule out the fact that the kind of pressure that is mounted here at home, the request the country or the nation Ghana has made for his extradition, and everything that is happening around him, the authorities of the United States would take note, and he would become a person of interest in some way. So if there's something else that he's falling foul of, it will not be surprising that even though ICE were those who moved in and arrested him, the FBI and other law enforcement agencies in the US are also monitoring and following closely. So I believe that beyond he overstaying his visa, we are also now aware that even that visa was revoked, which means that there might be some triggers for the revocation of that visa. So I'm not surprised, and I think all of this is playing out well so far for the desire by Ghanaians to have him come home and answer to his deeds when he presided over the resources of the state.
And that revelation over the weekend by the Deputy Attorney General, Dr. Shemsai, that the former finance minister's visa was revoked as of June last year. So essentially he's been living illegally, if you want to call it, in the United States from June 2025 to when he was picked up almost a week ago. Okay, then the questions have been asked as to why it had to take 6 months to have him picked up. I mean, you've been also digging into that. What have you been picking up?
Well, the Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayine, indicated that when the visa was revoked, he was given up to 29th November to have his, to leave the United States. And so I believe they didn't just revoke the visa and say leave the following day. They gave him some time and he didn't leave. And I think if I listen to the Ghana ambassador to the US, Mr. Victor Smith, very well, he did mention that the the request for extradition was given to the embassy officials and they handed it over to the US authorities on the 29th of December. So it appears everything would point to the fact that, well, this person was supposed to have left within this period and he hasn't left. We are still getting requests to bring him. So there would actually be eyes on him. Eyes as in EYES, for which reason the eyes of agents had to go in there because, like I mentioned, when this issue came up, it was more like a targeted operation. And for such targeted operation to happen, there has to be a number of triggers, perhaps, whether maybe you are such a high-profile criminal and or there is some kind of eyes and noses and mouths clamoring for your extradition. And I think everything that happens back home, we live in a global village now, and the American authorities are with us in Ghana. They know what is happening.
Right.
So I believe that his arrest may not be something like maybe they delayed and gave him too much time to, but he was given time to leave.
Right.
And by the ending of November, if he still was in there, then I think it is only natural that after the due date, when he was supposed to leave, any moment from then they could pick him up.
I see. But this is the statement that attributed to the ambassador, Ghana's ambassador to the United States, Victor Smith. And we're going to put that on the screen right now, just confirming the fact that, yeah, it says, I quote, I suspect it's a combination of two factors. ICE normally will pick you for immigration issues, but then when the FBI comes in, then there must be some criminality or Interpol police request so that the red alert comes in there. The combination of the two of them convinces him that the Ghana government had requested this, that's kind of Ofori-Atta to be brought in to help, if you like, unravel some issues that have been brought against him as a former minister. So that is the indication that he's also putting out there. You did follow his bit about FBI possibly getting involved. So even though ICE had eyes on him, FBI also was in the mix somewhere.
Yes, and I believe it all has to do with the fact that he's a wanted man back home. And Dominic Ayina did indicate that the Attorney General's office had also been investigating Ken Ofori-Atta on separate matters and had been in touch with law enforcement officials of the United States. So even, he said, even before the OSP finished its investigation into the SML deal, which Ken Ofori-Atta is implicated, his outfit had been working on some investigations and collaborating with some external agents, including law enforcement agents in the US. So if you put all of that together, it makes perfect sense that ICE will move in to detain him, and then the FBI will be on the side, keeping a close look at and perhaps briefing their law enforcement counterparts here in Ghana. So I don't think it's strange.
I see. And you say, per the information you have, you describe this as a targeted operation when Ken Ofori-Atta was picked up. And we have a picture of the apartment that you say that your sources indicated that's where he was picked up. This is it, right? Yeah. But tell us exactly what happened at this particular place.
So that is the Westlight apartment complex in Washington, D.C., which is about 20 minutes walk from the White House. And that is where I'm told Ken Ofori-Atta has been living, and he goes in and out. And from people who know his movement, he doesn't like hide or live like a fugitive. He lives a normal life. Some family members have been spotted in this building. And so this was where on the morning of January 6th, he stepped out of that building, and he was sandwiched by ICE agents who marched him into a vehicle and then drove him an hour and a half to his current detention center. So that's where he was picked up.
I see. Well, I appreciate your time on this, and I thank you. I know that you're doing quite some work as well in the coming days. There's a lot more that we'll get into. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Manasseh Azariwane is an investigative journalist. He's in the United States right now, also keeping tabs of how things are playing out with regards to the former finance minister, Ken Ofori-Atta. This is Ghana Tonight. Coming up next, we'll shift our focus into matters of education, because the National Council for Curriculum Assessment, they've recalled the controversial teacher's manual granting recognition to gender beyond male and female. This matter keeps coming up in different forms. almost every year since this conversation about anti-LGBTQ plus bill, the activities of these persons, and then also the whole conversation about criminalizing the activities of these LGBTQ plus persons. And this is not the first time we're seeing it captured in a certain form in a textbook, but this time it's different. Well, the National Council for Curriculum Assessment, they've recalled the controversial teacher's manual. This is a teacher's manual and not a textbook. So that's the difference this time around. The teacher's manual, that's granting recognition to gender beyond male and female. Now, this follows concerns that the manual is not consistent with Ghanaian values. Well, let's first take a look at what exactly is stated in this manual. We're going to put it on the screen right now, and what it spells out, and that portion that has become much of a big issue. Physical education and health elective for senior high schools. The last time this matter came up, it was a textbook for junior high schools. Well, this is for senior high schools, the teacher's manual. It quotes, sexual and reproductive health, SRH, common terms, gender identity. It refers to a person's deeply felt internal experience of gender, which may or may not correspond with the sex assigned at birth. It can include being male, female, or a blend of both. And this is where the issue is. The definition of gender identity refers to a person's deeply felt internal experience of gender, which may or may not correspond with the sex assigned at birth. It can include being male, female, or a blend of both. This is what is captured in this book. Physical Education and Health for Senior High Schools. Teacher Manual Year 2. This is it. It's become a big issue. Well, a number of persons have been talking about this. You'll hear Reverend Tim Fojo in a bit. Also, Dr. Peter Patianti is going to be joining us. We'll have a conversation on this particular issue and whether there's some lack of effective oversight and quality control that leads to these things slipping into publications, because it's not the first time. We saw it in a textbook, we've seen it in a teacher's manual. We'll be back shortly after this quick break. Stay with us. Welcome back. This is Ghana Tonight. We're live on 3FM 92.7. And this is the statement that came through from NACA in respect of this whole gender matter that has become another subject of debate. They say that's Professor Vincent Asanfo, is the chairman of the NACA board. In the review process, we should have flagged that definition. They say they should have. And we are undertaking some changes in the curriculum. And I have instructed my Director General that they should issue a statement to clarify and to make a point that bit, and in fact, it is only that bit, the whole section of the definition of terms, we will have to have a second look at that section, and he is working on it, and he assured teachers, well-meaning Ghanaians and parents that aspect in the review of the curriculum will be worked on. And it was brought to their attention this morning, and they didn't even understand it well. That's what the NACA board chair is saying. So he forwarded it to the deputy director in charge of technical services who oversees curriculum development, confirmed that indeed the document is from them. And so in terms of its authenticity, yes, it's an authentic document which originated from NACA. And that is where the matter really is. And Dr. Peter Patianti is Executive Director of the Institute for Education Studies. Doc, I appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us. Now, if you're hearing the chair of the NACA board say that, well, they should have flagged that definition, what does it tell you? Is it a matter of lack of proper oversight or the quality control mechanisms that is weak? That's why we maybe this slipped through without they noticing.
All right. Thank you very much, Alfred, and good evening. First and foremost, I need to say that I worked on the new curriculum. Okay, so I understand the processes. I worked on the curriculum for economics. I led the team, and then so what we did was we developed the curriculum, and then because of the challenges that we have had earlier on with the provision of textbooks for students, this time around in doing the senior high school curriculum, one of the things that we decided to do was to develop the teacher manuals and the learning manuals for the students before the document goes out to the publishers for them to develop the textbooks, because always the development of the textbooks delays, and that would mean that we were going to have the same challenge that we had with the standard-based curriculum at the basic level. And so the managers of the system at that time decided that we would develop the manuals for the teachers and the learners. So after you have developed the curriculum, you take the curriculum and then you develop the manuals. And then the manuals are supposed to be reviewed by the technical people, as the board chairman is saying. And so that is it. I agree with you. I think it's an issue of quality control. I think that the reviewers of the document did not pay particular attention to the content that was developed from the curriculum. So one of the things that you have to do to be sure that what they are saying is correct is to go back to the curriculum, because the manual comes from the curriculum. Everything that is in the manual is already in the curriculum. And the experts are employed to now use the curriculum to develop the teacher manual that is supposed to be used by the teacher to teach the students, and then the learner manual that is supposed to be used by the learners as a learning guide in their process of studying. So if you want to be sure that what they are saying is correct, you go back to the curriculum to ensure that there's nothing like that in the curriculum. And then you also pay attention to the learner manual to ensure that the definitions that have been given in the learner manual are not the same as what has been given in the teacher manual. So this is something like a cross-checking mechanism, and it was important for the experts to first and foremost know the situation, the cultural situation in which they were operating, so that they do not go beyond the values and systems of the society that they were developing the curriculum for. I think they did not do that, and I understand, because sometimes in developing the teacher manual, you might be tempted to look at other documents that will help you ensure that you have enough content for the teacher to deliver. And if you are using documents that are coming from these countries, you would definitely pick a definition like that and put it in a document for the teacher to use. So it is supposed to be now reviewed by the technical people from NACA, and I think the experts that were employed to do the review system. And if they didn't also see to flag it, then definitely it passes through the system and it gets to the public. And that is exactly what has happened in this situation. And I'm happy that they have admitted their shortfalls in terms of the quality control, and they are committing to ensure that in subsequent ones they will not allow such a thing to slip through to the public. It's not okay, or it is unfortunate for such a definition to be put in the documents like that for us at this time, where we know technically that we as a society do not like some of these things that is going on in the global system.
But you see, this is not the first time. This is not the first time we've having to deal with this. In 2019, if you recall, there was some textbook, same senior high school textbook, that had some content in it with relation to this LGBTQ matter and same-sex issues. The GES came out and said they hadn't approved that textbook, but then that textbook was on the market. Schools had instructed their students and parents to buy those books. And then we saw one in junior high school, primary school textbooks of a sort. And then we're having this one as well. To the parents who are watching, this is becoming one too many, and that's where the concern is.
Yes, I agree to that. But the point is that when a textbook is developed and it is not approved, it's a different situation altogether. Because if, again, gets back to NACA, their approval mechanisms. But where the textbook goes through the NACA system and it still have these things that we do not support as a society, that is where it becomes problematic. So the initial ones that were not documents that have been approved by NACA, but were slipped through to the market, was problematic. But this one have been approved. It's something that was developed under the supervision of NACA and I think TTL. So that is where this becomes a little bit serious, and I wouldn't want to compare the two, because this one is approved under the supervision of NACA and the Ghana Education Service. So it was supposed to have gone through that rigorous technical review to ensure that the content aligns with the belief systems of the people that the document is being developed for. Fortunately, this is not in the curriculum. And that is the distinction that I wanted to make. So this definition is not in the curriculum. It is in the teacher manual. And as I explained, in the teacher manual, you are supposed to look out for various information that would enable the teacher deliver the content. That is what the teacher manual is. So I'm going to teach. Instead of the teacher going to assemble numerous documents to prepare for teaching, the manual does that job for the teacher. So the teacher has a one-stop document that has been well researched and presented to him. In that process of researching, you are likely to come across some of these things. And as an expert in the field, you need to be aware of the society and environment that you are preparing the document for. That is what escaped the experts, and that is what escaped the technical reviewers. And that is why I believe that the quality control was not much. And I think that going forward, we should not let these things slip through, as have been indicated by all meaningful stakeholders.
Dr. Peter Bachanti, thank you very much for joining us here on Ghana Tonight on this matter, and also getting to know that you worked on this curriculum. So you are a better place to speak on how things are playing out. Thank you for joining us. He is the Executive Director of the Institute for Education Studies, IFES. Now, so before we go, the Judicial Service Staff Association of Ghana, they have set January 19, that's this coming Monday, or next week Monday, to begin a nationwide strike. They're demanding payment 8 months salary arrears. We're going to put the issues on the screen right now. They say government approved a 10% base pay increase for judicial service staff effective January 1, 2025. Implementation was delayed and only effected in September 2025. salary arrears for January to August remain unpaid, despite the assurances. Repeated engagements with the Ministry of Finance and the Judicial Council failed to resolve the issue. The Judicial Service staff faced significant hardship, especially during December 2025, and the members of JUSAG are dissatisfied and unwilling to accept further delays. They have declared an indefinite strike starting January 19. The strike will continue until all 8 months' salary arrears are fully paid. Notice is hereby served. That is what JUSAG have decided to do. There's more of this on 3news.com. On behalf of the rest of the team, we do appreciate your company. I am Alfred Okanse. Join the New Day team tomorrow morning, Sunrise 3 FM 92.7 tomorrow morning as well. Have a good night.
Ghana Tonight is brought to you by